It was nothing more than a line drawn on a map. A promise begun by someone's pen. There were no fences or barbed wire in the jungle. There were no two-dimensional lines, no three-dimensional walls. There was only the difference between getting caught and not getting caught. But in an instant, that fiction became reality in the name of law. It's done. The moment you get caught, it's all over. Only then do people realize. That invisible line was the strongest wall imprisoning them. The forest was damp, and the smell of rain-soaked earth still hung thickly in the air. A little further in from the campfire, Peter suddenly bent down and pointed at the ground with his finger. Wow, look! Peter's voice trembled with excitement. There was gorilla droppings. Large, thick chunks were scattered here and there, and next to them, smaller droppings, likely left by a young gorilla. It was a recent dump. A faint vapor, like steam, still rose, wafting through the humid forest air. Alphonse quickly got up and looked around. Amidst the brush and uprooted trees, where the forest had split, a herd of gorillas glided through the forest, surprisingly quietly. Behind them, a mother and her offspring. There were more than 20 gorillas in the group. The male led the way with the young and the smaller females. They moved quickly, as if on guard. Taeho, Peter, and Alphonse raised their guns. Atangs approached with a trap net. Kim Min-chul, who had been hesitant, also raised his gun, seeing the group's mood. Not now. Alphonse raised his hand. The wind's blowing against us. We'll be discovered. Let's go back to the rock 30 meters away. At that, everyone started walking. A few minutes later, the gorilla moved in the other direction. Peter asked, "Did we miss our chance?" Alphonse shrugged and smiled. "Opportunities always come again. But we have to do it right when we do. We have to wait. Now is the time." Someone shouted. A gunshot rang out. The gorilla's eyes turned, seemingly bewildered. The pole lasso twirled in the air, and the jungle machete was raised overhead, as if about to strike down. The broad leaves swayed violently, and a panicked roar echoed from everyone. I pulled the trigger. The reason was unclear, but thoughts of killing or capturing didn't cross my mind. A moment of fear and terror forced me to fire. The male gorilla arched his neck, as if roaring, and his massive body collapsed to the ground. The dense forest shook, and the herd scattered in all directions. In that moment, the group's cheers were louder than the beast's roar. Some raised their guns high, while others kicked the ground and laughed. We got them. Success. A heat, mixed with the smell of blood, spread across their faces. Taeho gasped for a moment at the precision of the shot. It was Alphonse's gun. Alphonse lowered the gun and smiled. "Let's see how big that dick is." At the Limba Zoo, the alpha males do, "Fuck you." If you return it, he'll grab it and jerk it off. But it always slips out of the finger ring and fails. Do you know why? Alphonse smiled and said leisurely. Since the alpha male monopolizes reproductive rights through polygamy, there's no need to develop large reproductive organs. Yes. Taeho smiled and made a "fuck you" gesture. Alphonse, the tranquilizer gun is incredibly useful. It'll make money. The gorilla, with the tranquilizer cartridge lodged in its shoulder, trembled and then fell silent. The gun still reeked of explosions, smoke, and the smell of gunpowder. I carefully removed the fallen gorilla's arm. Here. The tranquilizer bullet hit the target. His eyes traced the gorilla's dark blood. The moment its hot blood soaked the ground, a long-buried instinct awakened in his face. A fierce, rugged, masculine urge to prove his strength. It boiled within his veins, transcending time and place. Now that his massive body had collapsed to the ground, he was no longer a hunter. He was a warrior proving his own romantic ideals. And for a bloody moment, he was a powerful man seated on a throne. Human instinct and the desire for power were etched before my eyes, more vivid than the bullet's mark. The gorilla's eyes, not yet fully closed, slowly flickered. But Taeho's mind soon cooled. The cost of the bullet for that one shot, the fuel for maintaining the gun, the depreciation of the equipment, the transportation costs, and even the price of the hides, bones, and meat to be sold. Numbers raced through my mind like a calculator. The forest filled with gunpowder. The scent of blood lingered more strongly than my nose. What stung was the cold scent of money. Alphonse lowered his gun and smiled. It was a signal for a deal. It was the language of this jungle, honed in money, blood, power, and experience. Under Alphonse's hands, the gun was no longer a simple weapon. It was a tool for subjugation, domination, and buying time. The moment the bullet struck, the opponent fell, but not completely. In that gap, one could negotiate, transport, and calculate value. I suddenly glimpsed the future. Another gigantic life form would fall in the darkness of this jungle, the buyers swarming after them. And Alphonse's smiling face as he brokered the deal. The tranquilizer gun wasn't simply a tool for subduing animals. It was the key to prolonging human greed. The forest was momentarily quiet, but my ears could already hear the murmur of the market. And the rustle of transaction ledgers. Alphonse's smile opened onto the future we would soon step into. There was. The moment Alphonse saw Otang's prayerful form, he felt a chill run down his spine. For years as a hunter, he had a natural instinct. An ominous feeling had passed through his skin before the forest wind. Not today. He's not dead, so don't make a fuss and get away. His voice was low and firm. He carefully pushed the gorilla's arm away, his eyes already revealing his decision. Let's move before he wakes up. Yun Tae Ho, he'll wake up soon, so let's leave him alone. We should retreat to camp. She remained motionless, staring at the beast. His hands and eyes remained steady, as if he were praying a rosary. Alphonse gave him a brief glare. Min Chul, if we're late, it'll cost us our lives. The gorilla is alive, and the forest is watching over us. The forest air hung heavy. The moment the gorilla awoke, anxiety spread through everyone's hearts, wondering if the line between hunter and prey might shift. He stared straight into the eyes of the fallen gorilla. Those eyes merged with those of his comrades, shot and killed in the square. His heart pounded, and a low moan escaped his lips. Peter finally rested his chin on his hand, and stared blankly for a moment before walking toward the car. The rustle of leaves and the smell of excrement followed him. But he didn't look back. Min Chul, don't be so impatient. Your first hunt is always like that. The smell of blood, the silence of the forest. The sight of life at the end of a gun. No one's heart can help but waver. But that's a moment every beginner experiences. Fear and excitement are both natural. As time passes, your breathing will even out, and your eyes will clear again. Then, the gun will feel like a part of your arm. Alphonse's words sounded like comfort, but they concealed a strangely sharp edge. It felt like a test no one could avoid once they entered the world of hunting. Alphonse's gaze immediately turned to Tae Ho. Min Chul is no different. Right now, he only sees the shadows he brought from Gwangju overlapping. But the forest can change people. After seeing the gorilla, he finally understood where his heart stood. Tae Ho pursed his lips. He couldn't tell whether Alphonse's words were simple consolation, or the resigned experience of a longtime hunter. But his voice momentarily soothed the waves of anxiety. He picked up his knife again, but his fingers felt weaker than before. Will he ever return to normal? Or Min Chul, or me? He smiled apologetically. Well, I was just a little scared. Let's give up hunting. Tae Ho glared at Min Chul, clenching his hand around his knife. Stop it, you're scared? What were you instigating all this time? Did what happened in Gwangju lead you here? You've already destroyed yourself. And now you're laughing like it's nothing? Min Chul turned his head and chuckled. But his smile was weak. Tae Ho hung, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to point a gun at you again. But what can I do? Tae Ho's tendons bulged on the back of his hand. That only infuriated him further. Dropping us all in was a joke, wasn't it? The air around the campfire grew tense. Alphonse was the only one shaking his head, slowly, waiting for an opportunity to intervene. Min Chul, get back. You don't have to fire. You can't stop mid-progress. To cover expenses, even if we don't skin it, should we sell it as a stuffed gorilla? Let's at least try to capture the baby. As the silence grew, Alphonse finally spoke. Tae Ho, calm down. Your friend wasn't lying. What Min Chul feels now isn't fear or avoidance, but the shadow of the past etched into his body. As Tae Ho opened his eyes, Alphonse continued calmly. The first hunt is difficult for anyone, but Min Chul is even more so. He's already experienced gunfire. You know that in Gwangju, those memories just won't fade. When he tries to pull the trigger again, the sound of that gunfire, the look in the eyes of the fallen, comes back to life. The aim he's given to the beast is now the same as the aim he's given to the human. Refusing the hunt isn't running away. It's proof he's still fighting the wall within himself. If you force him to break it down, he'll crumble again. The campfire crackled with a bang. Tae Ho put down his knife and took a deep breath, recalling the memories he couldn't bring back. He listened to Alphonse's words and slowly stood up. After a moment, Tae Ho lowered his head and muttered softly,